Join us now for Let's Just Talk with Kathryn Raaker.
Hi, this is Kathryn Raaker of Let's Just Talk TV. You know, I love books and I love children. I used to have a television program called the Children's Storybook Tree. Actually, it was called Kathryn's Storybook Tree. And I loved doing it, and children wrote their stories in. But I work with a lot of children's authors, and one that I really love is Cynthia Fabian. And I'd like to read her book, Orchestra in Our Brain, the story of a child with epilepsy. And, you know, Cynthia always, when she writes, she gives a understanding of the character. This one is Robert, a 5-year-old with epilepsy, has a seizure at school. The students don't understand what a seizure is all about, and one child even makes fun of Robert. To make Robert and the other students understand what happened, the coach gives the children a lesson in music, describing it as an orchestra in our brain. He illustrates just how the brain works by using a musical metaphors. Robert's brain decided to play the wrong note, so he had a seizure. The orchestra in his brain was slightly off a key. This book's simple and non-graphic way to explain epilepsy to children is one that will allow kids to understand seizures and to learn about people who are different than themselves. Previously a teacher, Cynthia Fabian now speaks in libraries and school. I've had epilepsy my entire life and had always to overcome obstacles in many ways. This book is more about making yourself the best by keeping a positive attitude than anything else. She's writing her next book, Can't Enable, using star metaphors. The illustrator, Daniel Stevens, has a BA in Industrial Design from the Pratt Institute. His experience ranges from designing clothing and furniture to creating children's illustrations. The book, Orchestra in Our Brain, the story of a child with epilepsy by Cynthia Fabian. This is to my niece and nephew, Grace and George Fabian Epstein, in memory of Christian Urquhart, an amazing young person who left this earth too soon. You are deeply missed by many. Hey, Robert, come on. Let's do one more lap, said Coach Brown before he quickly looked at Robert and said, Robert, what's wrong? Robert collapsed on the ground in front of the gym, but was just waking up. The coach was kneeling beside him. Robert, how are you feeling? Asked Coach Brown as he stroked Robert's head. Well, my head hurts a little. Why am I on the floor? Asked Robert. What happened, Coach? You had a seizure, Robert, and your mom is on her way from work to pick you up, said Coach Brown. The school nurse was helping Robert to his office. Brian, one of Robert's classmates, jumped up and pretended to fall over and said, Look, Robert, I can fall over just like you. Coach Brown said to Brian, Take 10 laps. I will talk to you later. Hey, Robert, are you okay? Asked Penny loudly, hoping Robert would hear her. I will explain tomorrow why Robert isn't feeling well. Take 5, kids, said Coach Brown. The next day, Robert and his mom got into the Jeep and drove to his school. I'll pick you up at 3. You have an appointment with Dr. Gilman, said Robert's mom. Robert and the other children raced to the schoolyard as Coach Brown brought them inside. Gather round. We've got to get ready for this baseball game this week, so let's practice the national anthem. The school orchestra is practicing with us today. They're already set up in the back of the room, said Coach Brown. Let's listen to the music first, and then the second time we'll sing along. They listened to the older kids in the band play the whole song and waited for their opportunity to sing along. The song sounded great, didn't it? Said Coach Brown. All right, now we are going to play it again, but this time I will join you in the song. The national anthem was played once again. Then suddenly Coach Brown picked up his flute and played the wrong note. Robert looked around and then at Coach Brown, wondering what he was doing. After all, they had practiced the national anthem for months now. I thought we were a team, that we were supposed to be in tune like you always tell us, said Robert. Does anyone else feel the song didn't sound right? Asked Coach Brown. Yesterday, when Robert had a seizure, the orchestra in his brain played a different note. And what we have been doing is showing you how epilepsy works. Wrong note. Robert isn't a drum or a guitar. He's a boy, said Daryl. Robert smiled as the children started asking questions about epilepsy. He already knew about epilepsy, and he was happy he knew what the other classmates were just learning. I think I understand it, Coach Brown, said Norman. But I have just one question. How do you pronounce that word again? It's pronounced epilepsy. Let's spell it together. E-P-I-L-E-P-S-Y. I'm happy you all understand it a little bit about epilepsy now, said Coach Brown. And even though we really don't have musicians playing in our brain can sometimes play a different tune. That's just what's natural for you, and that makes us all special. Robert smiled and said, the class was all about me. Laughter echoed through the classroom as the children got ready to go to lunch. Brian and Lucy walked alongside Robert. Brian said, I'm so sorry for making fun of you, okay? It's all right, Brian, said Robert. Hey, what do you have for lunch? Want to trade? Bologna and cheese, again, said Brian. For more information on epilepsy for children and adults, go to www.purpleday.org/resources.php. The Anita Kaufman Foundation is solely dedicated to educating the public not to fear or misunderstand epilepsy. Her website is www.akfus.org. The end.